We're live. Well, this time we're
Live
live
here from
from
New.
Anaheim, LA, another new location unlocked.
Welcome. Happy Saturday. Yeah,
Saturday.
it's Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm like, what day is it? It's Saturday.
No, I feel like I lived 15 lives in the last like 4 days.
Because you have. Wait, everyone, just so you know, I'm now in New York and Nat is out in California. So we switched places a bit, but that's
Yeah.
okay. That's why Nat's in her car trying to, because this is called dedication. This is when you know that you make things work no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah. I'm sharing a room with Marcella's sister and she's
Uh-huh.
still resting. So I said, I'm going to go to the car.
Well, to be fair, it's what, 7:15 your time?
Yeah, but I've been getting up at like 5:30 every morning. So it's like,
Yeah. So for you, it's not a big deal, but maybe for her, she's exhausted.
yeah, it's been
No.
a long couple days. I'm not going to lie.
Wait, okay, tell us everything. Guys, Nat's been finally at Expo West. We've been talking about all the prep.
So,
It happened. Tell us
yeah.
everything.
This is my Super Bowl. Like literally
Yeah, truly.
insane. No, it was such an amazing show. I mean, this is like new for us. So we launched the whole new concept of Raiz by Two Fit, right? Even though we've been coming to the show for a while, like as a family, it's been such a different, I don't know, I feel like this year felt very different. My network has grown so much that I've been able to see more brands, more founders. And so it's so fun. It's so exhausting. I'm obsessed with all the booths, like the design booths. It's always so
Yeah.
shocking to me. I also think that it's very exciting to see newer brands here, ones that had just started, like for example, Sour Milk. They were with us
Yeah.
last year, and now they have their own booth, right? My friend
That's incredible.
from Behave, she's walked the show for so long, and she had an amazing booth this year. We got really good feedback. I feel like BoLab was a hit. I feel like the
Wait, I'm
power
so happy to hear that.
the power of the pivot, because when I would tell people it's vegan caviar, they would be like, oh, they would expect like some sort of like fish like taste. So then
Yeah.
immediately, like after like on the first day, a couple people trying it, I was like, no. So then I started saying, think of us as like a more gourmet boba or a garnish. So then people were able to kind of like clock it more. And then I would still say like we're categorized like as a vegan caviar, but we're also this. And I think people were able to understand the concept a lot better and
I
really wanted.
love you were I love that you were able to do that and like try it in real time. This is what we were
Oh
talking about the other week, where it's like when you can try your pitch in 2 seconds and see, okay, what is actually resonating with people and what's
yeah,
exciting them and getting them to want to try the product. That's
yeah.
really cool you were able to do that.
No, it was so fun. I also think that like compared to last year, there was way more. I mean, there's always like a lot of ingredient people, a lot of like co-packing people, but
Yeah.
I feel like, and like marketing services, but I feel like this year I saw a lot less of that and more like actual want like potential
Brands.
buyers, brands for like collaborations. Like I think it was more quality, even though it felt like a lot more people.
Yeah. Wait, that's incredible. Do you think that, I mean, Expo West has always been a big thing, but I'm curious if, like, just with where the economy is, the environment is, I feel like NA is getting bigger as well, where before, especially smaller brands, it's like, oh, the goal was to IPO versus now it's like just to get acquired. And so I feel like that opens up a lot of room and opportunity for buyers to be there. Of like, okay, now
Yeah.
you're seeing it's not just the people that are creating that are like, please acquire me. The buyers are also noticing of like, hey, instead of us creating our own thing, let's just acquire something that's already working.
Yeah, I think there's been a huge shift in like the last couple years from that. I also think that, like, for example, Poppy, their booth
Yeah.
this year was so insane, but like now they have like Pepsi stuff, right? So, like a little sign, it wasn't even like anywhere else, but like a little sign. So I think that, like, and you can see the transition from where brands start off as like in a certain hall to like the bigger halls. So
Right.
I think it's been that, but at the same time, I also think that a lot of there's been this year I saw way more creators too, which like, I mean, that's
Interesting.
been a thing, right? But for example, my friend Erin from Goldilocks,
Yeah.
she stayed at an Airbnb with 16 founders, and they were filming a reality TV show for the weekend, or the week, basically.
Wait, that's wild.
Yeah. They had like a
Wait,
whole production team following them around, like in the house, like cameras all over. I was like, so you're living summer house, but like Expo West
Wait,
edition.
Expo West. Yeah. Wait, that's actually wild. It's kind of like what we had talked about in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
We were like, we should have had a production company following us because this is wild. And
Yeah.
like you get to see the behind the scenes of like being founders.
Yeah. So I think this year, like the content, I also saw way more collaborations between brands. I feel like in
Yeah.
previous years, it was like your booth and like your booth only. Like you could go and talk to other brands, but now brands are collaborating within like the same ecosystem. So like
Yeah.
Nate from Express Checkout did a
Oh
whole
yeah.
event like post like after one of the days at Bubba Gump. And so that was great. Then you would see like Kelly Bennett did an event called Ladies Lounge. So this is like her second annual one, and she collaborated with like a bunch of different brands. Sour Milk did some with like a couple other brands. Like I think that's becoming more known, and I also think that as the consumer space has shifted a ton, brands are leaning more on each other to be able to cross collaborate on content, retail expansion, like for demos, like stuff like that, versus it just being such like a it's my brand and just my brand, you know?
Right, right, totally. Well, and I think again, it goes back to where we're just at as an environment, where it's like, okay, wanting to be acquired, but also need to rely on, or not rely, but lean to your point on other brands to be able to like get further faster.
Yeah, I
Farther.
also think that like the creator economy too, that's a big factor in like pushing stuff like that.
Yeah, I
You know?
agree. I agree. I think even like as I've been building out, redoing our entire go to market for Vane, it's like, okay, we're, especially now that we just launched our courses, like the challenges, it's like, how can we lean on brands and creators more to help us with our go to market and like getting visibility, knowing that's like, we don't have the budget to put behind paid marketing. And
Oh,
that's really the only way to like get that level of visibility. And if you're not going to have that budget, then you have to lean on other brands that have it, creators that have it. And
yeah.
so it's really interesting of how people are just rethinking collaborations, rethinking marketing, rethinking of like, how do we really help each other, especially like instead of it being a dog eat dog world where it's like, well, if you get it, then I lose out. It's like, well, how can we actually help each other win
Yeah.
overall?
Well, one of my favorite like activations that happened was Goodles. They always do a really good job. They did a charm
Wait, what's
bracelet. They're like a healthier like mac and cheese, but they did a collaboration where you start at their booth and you get like a charm, and then you have a scavenger hunt and you start going to all these brands and you get a
wait,
charm.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, and then obviously like Belly Welly always does like these things and stuff like that. But I think that in itself, like to get a charm, it was like follow us on social or like that cross collab, and like people loved it. You also see trends, right? There was
Yeah.
a lot less water this year. Like I was like trying to figure out where the heck to find water. I was like mushroom this, mushroom. I'm like, no, I just want plain water. Like
Can I just have like tap water? Just like plain good old tap water.
yeah. But also a big trend in like what each brand brings. Like there's always the fight to who has the best bag, right? So people like fight over bags, or like with Pipa, for example, they were at our booth and they only brought like a couple like tote bags for themselves
Yeah.
so like they could carry stuff in their bags. And the amount of people, like there's some cool people at Expo, like towards the end of like the show, like not in the beginning, not the first day, not really the second day, the third day, but like towards the end of the show, and you could tell brands are picking up to get ready to leave for the next day.
Yeah.
There's some people like there's some stragglers that will literally go up to booths and literally try to take product or like try to take that. I'm like, hello, like please
Wait,
no.
that's insane.
Yeah, and the last day especially. The second day, because like after each day, I went to like a bunch of networking things or just activations that Expo had, but we stayed at the booth. We like make sure everything's clean. We hide the product because you never
Right.
know. And we had like on our one of our displays, we had like big coffee bags, and this guy came
Right.
up and tried to take a whole bag, and I was like, no, that's not to take. Like I was in the process about to put it away. And then as I was doing that, I look over and this lady was about to snag one of Pipa's bags with all the samples, and I was like, no, you can't take that. Like please be chill. Like people
It's
are
also
savage.
it's also just like so rude and just, I'm like, lack of manners.
No,
Like,
it's
have
crazy.
manners, please.
Yeah.
Because what do you mean you're just gonna go and take someone's product without even asking
No.
or understanding if that's like a sample to take?
Also, like from the consumer space, like having a brand, all this stuff, it's expensive.
It's so expensive.
And I was talking to the Peepa founders about this. Like, they were like, now when we were walking around, like we were figuring out like, oh, this booth is like about this much plus
Right.
product plus this. And I was like, no, no, no. You start thinking and like reprogramming your brain a lot differently because of costs that are implied. Like we got to pick a booth for next year. I still am like, I haven't picked it yet. I literally was like, okay, like the economy, for example, because I was like, okay, how has it shifted? Such a massive show, such an expensive show, because
Right.
a small booth will range anywhere from like five, like at least K, but mainly more. That's just the space.
Right.
That's not even like the booth. And
That's
then
nothing that you haven't designed it. You haven't brought anything else of like to the experiential part of it. Like that's just to have the space.
yeah.
That's insane.
So I went to go look to see what spaces were available. And this is before it opens up for the like people that haven't been to Expo before. There's floors that are completely sold out. And I'm like, how? How? This is crazy.
It's insane. People don't realize in the consumer space, every unit is so expensive and every little thing is so expensive. So then to have people come and try to take it, and of course, I'm like, do you think they were competitors that like wanted to like take a sample or something? And like,
I'm
because you
like,
don't know, like, you really don't know what these people are trying to do. Like, is it just because they're being oblivious and don't realize and just want to try the product and be like, oh, like I thought I could just take this? Or is it a competitor that's trying to actually do something a little bit more malicious? Like, I don't know. Maybe
you
that,
don't,
maybe
you
I've
can
watched.
never trust. You can never trust. I told like the people girls, I was like, don't trust the badges because you never know how they got into the show, right? Like it could say retailer, they might not be a retailer. I was like, you have to treat everybody equally, which like
Yeah.
we're that type of people, you know, like I don't have to tell them that, but I was like, don't be that person that looks at the badge and then like changes what you're gonna say because you truly don't know. And
Yeah.
I hate like when I go to a booth and my thing just says like my brand and like people don't pay attention to you, or like if you start saying you invest, it's like they
Oh my God.
completely
Right.
change. And I'm like,
And maybe they're investing 5K, which is not nothing, but it's not something to
yeah.
like.
I'm like, or like you could be another brand trying to do a sick collaboration. Like, I think that needs to change. And I think in the consumer space still, even if you get the opportunity to just walk the show, there's so many ways to activate your brand at the expo. And I got to see a lot of the Dream Ventures girls. Kelly was here this year, which was so great. Yeah. Yeah, no, she was good. She brought her oldest kid.
Oh my God, how was that?
Yeah, I didn't see him because she came by my booth with like other DVA gals and we were just chatting. I was I wanted the People girls to meet Kelly because I wanted them to learn more about Dream Ventures, just get to know her.
Yeah.
And it was great. Like, I think overall, it's like the battle of like, if you have a booth, like being able to walk, but have a booth. So
Yeah.
it's a balance.
Totally, totally. Wait, but I'm so excited that it went so well.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Good.
I'm excited to see what's to come and like what's next, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I think also like it's exciting that you've been working so hard on the relaunch of Raiz by Two Fit with all the different brands and having them under the same umbrella, and now to have it finally happen and be able to move forward with it is so
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff I have to like map out
Mhm.
and figure out, kind of take
Yeah.
what we learned from Expo to apply it. But I think there was a lot of answers that I got. And obviously, like, there's nothing like having the product in front of people for you to understand like, what you need to tweak and like understanding and listening to your consumers, right?
Consumer. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's like, I feel like that's why sampling is so important. It's not just to get people to, know who you are and awareness, but also to be able to understand if people are liking the product or what they're liking about it or not. Like we are now ramping up our usability test for Vane, which is super exciting. I was talking to our design team yesterday about it, like, okay, how can we ramp this up and do it a little bit faster? Because as we're building out, I think Sarania was finishing a few things and then finally going to apply to the App Store, which I know I've been saying that, but like it actually is happening, which is incredible. And that girl's a beast. Like she's in Spain for a conference, and she's like, I woke up yesterday to like a ton of text messages being like, hey, thoughts on boom, 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 boom. She was like, I just have like 3 things I need to finish, like focus for a few hours and it'll be done. I'm like, beautiful, incredible.
You guys are still moving very quick for, like, I know you just said, like, we've been saying about the App Store, but I'm like, you've been moving really fast still.
Yeah, we have. We've been moving really, really fast. Also, I think we got to a point where we built so much where now it's like, okay, let's not build any more features. Let's now make it intuitive. Let's make what we have really good so that when people try it, they enjoy it. And then you can, because like, it's just like, you know, like Amazon started with books and then they expanded to other things. Like you have to get really good at one thing and then be able to expand. And so I'm like, all right, we have all these features that are going to keep people coming back, which is great. But what can be like our hero product, or what is really what we want to lean in on? And I think we're going to figure that out with the usability test. So we have, I think, 4 people that we're testing with next week who are not part of our internal team, which will be nice. So it'll be fresh pair of eyes, which will be great. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. And
Wait,
then
I was talking to the People girls about the challenge, like the different challenge.
Yeah.
They thought it was so smart. They were like, this is so cool. So they're excited to talk to you about different things, because they were like, it's one thing to have like our brand on a platform. Another thing is being able to have people understand how to use the product in a more organic way. You're leaning in and like you're educating them in a way where they know about the product, they know the benefits, but it's not as like an ad, you know?
Right. It's truly of just like, hey, okay, if you want to know more about us, like this is what you can do with us. And it's like super affordable. I think our most expensive one is like $25, and that one is for like pregnancy, where it's like very specific of like, hey, these are the products that you can use while you're pregnant. But the People one, I forget what we were like looking to price it at, but we can also talk to the People team about it, of like, hey, what works for you guys? Also, what are the products that you want to be showcasing? How, and also like knowing that the founders are really involved in their content of like, hey, how do you want to go about this entire course and challenge, and having people engage with it every day. So it's really exciting to be able to do that. And I think we're not even planning to start with our subscription first. We're planning to start from a revenue perspective, just the courses or the challenges, because we know that like going back to everything we were saying, we can lean on brands, lean on creators to help us get people in the door. And then users will, you know, discover all the other things that Vane has to offer. But it's like, what is the stickiness that people are going to care about? They care about what their favorite influencers are using. They care about what their favorite brands are recommending to them. And they want to understand every day of like, wait, how do I actually use this? How do I keep up with this? And be able to do progress photos. So I'm really excited about it. We also are like trying to figure out, we're redesigning all of our socials where, we've been doing a lot of work this past week. So like over the last 10-ish days, we redid all of our like brand heart model, all of our brand messaging, like what's our tagline, like what do we stand for? Because I think that helps us. One, it was a really good experience, I think, for our interns to have. I think I didn't get that experience until I was in the corporate world, but I think it's really good to have as an undergrad. And secondly, I think it helps them understand, where are we going as a company? What's the vision and what's the message that we're trying to convey to our end consumer? And obviously it's been changing a lot. And I think it went from like a little bit more chaos and like being like, we're like skincare that gets shit done. Like now, like that seems more like a brand where we're a platform. And so how do you make that pivot into being a platform? And so we've now like been doing all the work, and also from a social perspective of how do we get a little bit more editorial, not so like functional, but more editorial of like, okay, how do we, Sleep or Die is one of our inspirations, because
they're amazing.
Truly, like it's so freaking good. Their branding's incredible. And so like we have that brand as like inspo, and it's really nice because like we're not competitors whatsoever. So it's like we're just using them as inspiration of like, I love what they do from a brand perspective, and how do we emulate that? And so we started redesigning on Canva all of our grid of like, how do we plan it out, and having a background so that it's a gradient. So when you come to our actual, like, it's going to look really cool. So when you come to our profile, you'll see like it'll be beautiful. And then we can put images on part. I think we weren't thinking of it that way, where it's like, in order for it to really look cohesive, you have to be thinking of it at a bird's eye view. Where it's okay, when someone comes and looks at like your last 10 posts, what does it look like? It needs to look pretty. It needs to look cohesive. And that's where we were missing it. Especially because we have so many people working on our content. It's just hard versus I'm like, if we're gonna do a full rebrand, or not rebrand, or refresh in April, we need to do it right. And so that's what we've been working on. I'm really excited about that. And then we shared that with the whole team yesterday to be able to then say, from a design perspective, because Saranya's done an incredible job in building the app, but when we think of, okay, the design, she was basing off of a template, and she's the first one to say it of like, well, I'm not a design person. Like, I was just building the features and we need to work on the design. So I was working with our design partners yesterday of like, okay, how do we rethink how we're bringing in color? Like right now we just have a white background and gray boxes. Like, how do we think of bringing in the color more than that? It needs to actually have some contrast. It needs to have some differentiation, some brand identifiers. And so that's really exciting all to me because it's like the fun part.
Yeah, I think that like, I mean, we like, figuring out when you go through any pivot, but also making sure everything is aligned, right?
Yeah.
Like for creatives, like the brand identity, because as you evolve, like every brand has different iterations, right? And I feel like a lot of founders kind of forget about that and like, because it's your baby, right? Essentially.
Oh,
And
100%.
so sometimes you have to be okay with like taking a leap of faith and figuring out what makes sense and test it out. Like, don't think too much about it to an extent, right? And then
Right.
from there, really hone in and like get feedback and figure out what makes sense because you're not really going to know what the consumer really needs and wants until you put it out there. But I think it's important to kind of go through different iterations as you evolve because then that's how you know what works and what doesn't work.
100%. I think that's actually happened a lot with our tagline. We're like, we came up with the tagline, we showed it to the rest of the team, and they were like, we don't know what that word means. And we're like, wait, what? And I think it was just like jargon, where it was like very marketing jargon. And they were like, hey, we're engineers. Like, we don't use any of those words.
Yeah.
And it made us go back to the drawing room of like, okay, what is the message we're trying to convey? And then how do we do that properly? So, or like do that in a way that everyone understands. So I came up with the team and I came up with two different new taglines and I showed it to the whole team yesterday and like took a vote of like, how does this make you feel? How does that make you feel? I think we're getting closer. I don't think we're there just yet, but I think we're getting a little bit closer, which is nice. But yeah, I think like going back to the fail fast mentality of like, how do you just test things, fail fast and keep going?
Yeah, I agree. And I also think that it'll come through different iterations. Like you'll kind of bring in new thought processes and things versus like sticking with something. And for us, for example, like people are so used to hearing, and I took this from Expo, like everybody's so used to seeing Two Fit, right? They're not used to seeing rice by Two Fit. So, and they're used to seeing like protein bars or like protein something. So I think for us, that's something that we're like digesting and like figuring out how we can convey it a lot better where it's like, hey, this is not just about protein bars any longer. We're really like, this is turning into like the consumer arm of the investment side of what my family has invested in, right? So it's like a larger thing. And like when I would tell people kind of this is more like an umbrella for innovative brands and brands that we're bringing from different countries, like our roots in Colombia, people were able to understand it. But then also it's like, I also think that like looking at bigger brands can be so hard sometimes because it's like the comparison of it all. But at the same time, at Expo, I saw David, right? David Protein.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're massive. They're launching a protein ice cream, right? Like even the big brands are doing stuff that like where they change things. Like it's okay to change. It's okay to not have all the answers figured out. And I think for the protein bar side, like yeah, there's a lot of R&D that like we're thinking, we're looking into, we're doing, but at the same time, like there's no rush. Like yes, brands are getting acquired, brands are doing this, brands are doing that, but at the same time, like I would rather figure out things strategically than to like blow through a bunch of capital unnecessarily.
Well, and on something that then is not going to work.
Yeah, because like consumer is so capital intensive, right?
Yep. It is crazy. Oh, I'm so happy you had such a good time, Nat.
It was,
Yay, I feel blessed.
Can't wait for next year.
Yeah, and you're already thinking about it. I'm like, that's how Super Bowl is, like, truly, where it's like, it ends, and you're like, all right, so for the next year, what are we gonna do? How do we make it bigger, better?
Well, wait, I also wanted to close off on this. Like, my skin has been shit because
Because you're
I
out in the dry California.
know because at Expo, like, you're just snacking. Like, you don't eat. Like, again, there's no
Oh,
water, really. I mean, there's water, but not really. So, like, I'm eating crazy. My body's obviously like travel, eating crazy, like not eating like good meals, like,
yeah, yeah.
and not hydrating how I'm supposed to. Crazy like hours of sleep, like not really sleeping. That like I was just talking to the people girls. I was like, my skin is like not well, and then I was just thinking, I was like, I wonder if conferences like this would be great for Vane because you can get stuff, or you could also figure out like what really like I don't know. That came to mind, and I was like, what is going on? Because
Well,
everything affects your skin.
everything does. Well, and that's like why we want to do all the integrations with Vane, where it's like, and I don't know if you've seen the latest, but like in our progress tab now, we actually have today's environment that we just launched.
That's so
So
important.
it says, like, for example, I'm in New York, high humidity, 95%, go lighter with products today to avoid congestion. Cold weather, it's 40 degrees, use a richer barrier cream to prevent moisture loss. So it's like, it's helping you out with the environment, but also of like, okay, what we want to get in like health correlations. I don't, right now it's like using Apple Health to track, except I don't track my things with Apple Health. So it's like
Yeah.
sleep, mindfulness, or like stress. Though that's why we want to integrate with like a cycle syncing or like sorry, a cycle tracker or a Whoop or an Aura ring, an Apple Watch, where things are like, okay, how much activity are you doing for the day? Are you actually even able to like intake water right now? Like it might pal. Like you haven't been able to intake water. Okay, hey, like reminder, have some water because if not, your skin's gonna be having some type of reaction to it, right?
Yeah.
Like everything impacts it and our diet as well. So that's where it's like, how do we think of a skin health tracker as a holistic thing, not just as the products you put on it, but really it's about every single part of your lifestyle and your day to day. But I love that you were thinking of it.
Well, that's like the work side of it all.
Wait, love. Yeah, yeah, that's like for both of us. I'm like, that's pretty much what we've been doing work-wise. Wait, okay, so tell me more of the fun stuff. Have we, let's talk boys, let's talk dating. Do we have any
Oh,
updates?
no, not really.
Wait, now that I was back in New York, I texted Alex.
Oh,
And so,
are you gonna go on a date
wait.
with her brother?
Oh, yeah. Wait, okay, well, I'm gonna get drinks with her first. I didn't even bring up the brother. Like, I'm like, the brother can be like an addition, like that'd be a great plus. But like she's great, so I want to be friends with her.
Oh, she's
Um,
great.
Yeah, she's awesome. So I texted her. I was like, "Hey, I'm in town. Like, let me know if you're around." She was like, "Oh my God, I'm running out the door, but let me look at my calendar. I definitely want to hang out." I was like, "Perfect." So I'm excited. I told her, I was like, "Nat and I were just talking about you the other day," and I was like, "Oh my God, I need to talk to Alex." And then I'm going on a date tonight.
Yay.
So yay. Yeah, I think just like while I'm in New York, I'm like, why not? It's the same way. It's funny. Like my Hinge is Miami, and then my Bumble is New York. And so it's funny. I'm like, I will say though, I like having the direct comparisons where like the Miami boys are a lot more talkative. They're a lot more talkative and they have a lot more initiative to just like go on a date versus the New York boys just like disappear. They're like
Yeah,
they
or
talk
it's
and
like, yeah, or they want to talk, but then they don't want to talk, or like they're not solidified plans as quick. Sometimes in New York, I'm like, what's going on here?
oh, 100%. Where I'm like, this is dumb. Like, why are we like it's just like such a pen pal vibe. While I feel like the Miami boys are not as much of a pen pal vibe. They're like, cool, when can we hang out? Like, when can I
Yeah.
take you for drinks? Like, when I'm like, oh, if anything, half the time I'm like, sorry, I'm gonna be back next week. Like, ooh, I'll let you know when I'm back in town. But anywho, so that's we'll see. We're going to Bar Veloci. Is that how you say it? You know which one. There's like a few locations around the
Oh yeah,
city.
yeah, yeah. It's a
We're going
good.
to the one on Houston. It's a cute bar. It's a cute
Yeah.
bar. So we're gonna go to the one on Houston, which will be fun. But yeah, I went out last night with friends, which was a really good time. I went out. Have you been to Cafe Little Armenia in
No,
Greenpoint?
I was gonna ask you where that was because it looked cool.
Okay, literally think of like full on hole in the wall, mom and pop restaurant the like menus are laminated paper that just like were handwritten.
I
Like
love
it's really, really cute. And the guy, I think he had to be the owner, but he's also the chef and he's like taking everyone's order and also cooking the food. And I was like, this man does it all. He was so sweet. And like, you know, like when you go to just like a mom and pop place or a family run place where they're like, oh, you want this? I can make something for you. Like, don't worry about it. It's that vibe.
Oh,
And like then
cute.
all of a sudden, also the prices were incredible. It was I think $10 per appetizer and then like 17 per entree. Or you could do a prefix for 27, which the prefix would get you an appetizer, an entree, and dessert for $27.
That's insane.
Insane.
That speaking of pricing, yesterday I was gonna have breakfast at the hotel, like right at the convention center.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's sit down and eat. I literally look, I go, for huevos, like just like an all American breakfast, like
Yeah.
$29. I was like, no, not even.
That's insane to me.
I'm like, what in the no? Like people get crazy with pricing.
They get well, and also I'm just like, what are your margins on this? Like I know you're upcharging all of this because it's probably all conferences that are out in Anaheim. So they're like, well, companies are paying for it, so it's fine. Where I'm like, this is still really overpriced. Like this
Yeah.
is insane. Greenpoint is very cute. So it was just a good spot and it was packed. Like people like you could tell that it's a well-known spot where like
Yeah.
the neighborhood goes to. But it was incredible. And then came out to the East Village, went out to a few bars here, and then I was like, I have to go home. I was like, I'm exhausted, and I have the podcast in the morning. I was like, I gotta go. I got home at 2, and I was like, which isn't that late. So I was just like, okay, I need to shower and go to sleep. And then today I'm gonna hang out with Dani.
Yay.
I think we're gonna get lunch. I think we're gonna get lunch, and then I need to text her, and then do my date, and then I think I'm gonna hang out with people either later at night or tomorrow. I'm having a brunch or doing a brunch with some people. I know.
Fun.
I'm excited. We have
I'm
a lot
taking
on the calendar.
I'm taking the red eye back tonight.
That's right. Are we excited?
Yeah, I'm excited to be back on the East Coast. And then I have Sola and Brooke's event for Women's Splain tomorrow.
Right. Wait, so what's that event?
It's their season 5 launch of the pod.
Oh, wait, fun. That's gonna be great.
But- Soto method.
So you're gonna do a Pilates class?
Yeah, I feel like my body needs to I'm like, I need greens, water, food that's healthy, an actual meal, and a workout class.
I don't blame you. That reminds me, I need to do the jet set when I'm back in Miami.
Yeah. When are you going back?
I don't know. I kept getting that question last night, and I was like, I don't know.
End of
We'll
month?
see. Literally, everyone last night was like, "Can you please stay the month? Like, you are already like you didn't sublet this month. Like, you already paid rent. Just stay the whole month." But then I'm like, "Yeah, but the warmth is really nice." I'm like, and
But you'll be
also
there
I'm
in
like,
April.
well, and that's what they said. They're like, "You're gonna literally be there April, May, June." Like, but I need to then see if I can extend my jet set Pilates class
Yeah.
because I already paid for it. So, and I think it's like only good for a month or something. So I need to see if I
Well,
can
the
extend it.
DBA girls are going at the end of the month, I think.
That's right. Yeah, I saw that. So I want to be there for that as well. Unless Vermont Boy comes to New York.
My list is 0.
My list is 0.
We're,
My
we're
list is
starting
0
from
too.
0.
I'm like, my list is 0 too. Oh,
Hi.
second date boy? The guy that I went to the jazz bar with?
Yeah.
Haven't heard from him. Just disappeared.
Yeah, that's like Vermont boy. Disappeared.
Just disappeared. I'm like, okay. Like, he's like, oh, let's talk while you're in New York. And I was like, yeah, great. Like, call me whenever. Literally have not heard from that guy. Like, not even a, hey, are you back in town? Yeah.
I
don't
was
know.
like, can I get a pulse check on this man? But like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
guess.
But I don't care enough to like do anything about it. So I'm just like,
No.
all right, well, that was fun. Bye.
No. I'm like, I need to reply to people like that I actually need to reply to. I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
need to like
exactly.
start extending and like sending messages like unnecessarily. I'm like, maybe I just need to add people to the roster to line up dates. I feel like before there was no time. Now I get a little breathing room.
Now you get a little breathing room. That's what I'm trying to like approach dating as of like, there needs to just be a lot of people on the roster so that I don't get like too attached to any guy because that's
Yeah.
what I do. I'm like, idealize them. And then it's like, I think they're better than what they actually are. And kind of just like pay more attention to actions versus words.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't feel you on that because I feel like I tend to run. Someone
She's
starts
an
putting
avoidant.
and I run. Oh, I start finding an ick and everything, and then I'm like, okay, bye. And then my friends
I'm
are
done.
like, he seemed great, and I was like, no, there's this, and this, and they're like, just give a man a shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I should start doing that.
Maybe you'll practice. Now, also now that you have the time. Because
Yeah,
it's true, like, you didn't have the time. But now you'll have the time, but also you have to make time.
yeah, no, I think now after Expo, I'll be like, ooh, get a little breathing room in.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, and you'll be back in New York and we can hang out.
Yay.
Yay. Um,
Well, subscribe and save. Make sure to
yeah, so
follow us on
subscribe and
social.
save. Most consumer thing. Subscribe and save for a discount. Make sure to follow us on Spotify and our socials if you're
Yeah,
not already. And if I had to choose between the two, I would say our socials. So
yeah,
follow,
same.
follow us there. And yeah, thanks guys. We'll talk to you next week. Have a gorgeous weekend.
Bye.
Bye.